Okay, we're here today at Shaw's Garage. We're going to do an update video on the 41 gasser project. I'm just going to do a walk around and kind of show you what we've been doing. We've made quite a bit of progress. That's my dog Maddie right there. She thinks she's got to be in the video. Okay, we'll just do a walk around and we got most of our roll cage in, as you can see. Still got to do the door bars. We're going to do removable swing out door bars on this one. Got some Ford Econoline van seats, which are real period correct for these cars. This is an NHRA approved seat mount. That's NHRA approved wood. If you have to read the rule book to see exactly what kind of wood you have to use. So we brought our cage down through the dash. We've still got to pull our dash panel out and do gauges. Not totally happy with that gauge layout, so we may be doing something a little different there. We've got our stripes in the top. The paint on this is a satin white urethane. And then the stripes are done in a single stage regular glossy urethane, and it's got gold flake in it. Can't really see the flake without it being out in the sun, but I think it'll look cool. Still need to do all of our glass. We've ordered Lexan. I think we're going to go ahead and do Lexan for all the windows. Got the bed and rear fenders painted and put on about a week ago. You see all the inner bed structure. All of the black that you see is actually powder coating. It's a semi-gloss powder coat, and I like the way it worked out. We actually had the panels powder coated before we did any body work, and we taped off the powder coat and then did the body work and painted the other sides of the bed sides in the body color. And they came out pretty good. We didn't get real particular with the body work. Again, it's kind of got the old race car vibe. There's lots of little flaws in it, but I think it's going to look okay. Tailgate came out nice. We built the tailgate from scratch. It's a very lightweight tailgate. It's got an aluminum skin with some real thin wall tubing, and it's made to mimic a stock tailgate as far as the way the panels are laid out, but it should be fairly lightweight. And of course, we have an aluminum floor that's going to go in the bed after all the plumbing and wiring and stuff is done. We got the fuel cell mounted. And the actual skin of the tailgates is a piece of 1/8 aluminum diamond plate. We actually had one side of it powder coated, and then the other side is painted body color. And I think I'm going to actually like that. It should hold up pretty well. It's a good place to get a shot of the suspension. As I've said before, that's a 59 Ford 9-inch rear end housing, and then we have a 422 gear with a traction lock center section. We've got a pretty detailed video coming up that I hope to post where we actually assembled the rear end and set it up. A good friend of mine helped with that, who's really good on setting up rear end, so it'll be worth watching if you're interested in setting up a 9-inch rear end. You'll see there where the drive shaft goes through the body. I think we did a little quick clip of that before, but that's a piece of 1/4-inch plate that's rolled into the transmission tunnel, welded solid into the body, and then we've got a 1/4-inch, 6-inch diameter ring that's going to slip over the drive shaft and weld into that at the proper location, and that'll put our drive shaft loop within the 6 inches that's required at most tracks. So I think that's going to make a nice clean drive shaft loop. Battery will be mounted over there. We're probably going to put the fuel pump and fuel filter on the other side in that area there, the frame rail, and there'll be a lift up door in the bed that will access that. We'll also have a small lift up door to access the fuel cell fill. And since we did our last video, we actually scored a set of US Indy 4.5-inch wide 15-inch slots for the front with the proper set of skinny tires, and really makes a difference. Real happy with that. They match our back. They're the same manufacturer, same era, definitely era correct. And you see we've started putting a few of the contingency decals on. We've still got to figure out about the lettering and who's going to do it, because I can't do lettering. Get a shot under here of how everything sits. Another shot of the dog. She's excited. Okay. And we've got our headers painted and mounted. All the suspension is finished. We've still got a few fasteners to tighten up and alignment to, or actually just the toe end to set, all that. The engine still needs to be plumbed and wired, but everything is complete and assembled. So as soon as we get a few more things done, we'll start putting a wiring harness in it and get our fuel lines running, and we'll actually be able to fire it off. It's been a long time coming. We still got to go and black out all of the underneath parts, but we'll probably do that towards the end. It's a good view of the new wheels. Those wheels are getting really difficult to find at a decent price, and we found them at a swap meet. Actually, at the Bowling Green Hot Rod Reunion, which usually everything is way overpriced there, but we found a guy who was very fair and got a good set of wheels. This gives you a shot of the engine bay. I've still got to cut my dipstick. You can see it's bottomed out in the tube. We had to do a custom dipstick tube for that oil pan. Still got to trim it off and calibrate it. But for the most part, it's ready. We've got our throttle linkage hooked up. We mentioned earlier in a video about the when we had the front end off, about the electric fan. Again, it kind of disappears once it's in here, so I'm not real concerned about how it looks, but I think it'll do a great job of cooling. And if we had to, we've got room for an engine-driven fan. I made sure of that as we were building it. Don't think we'll have any cooling issues with this little motor. And I'm gonna reach in here. I've got the cowl vent put on. I'm gonna reach in and pop it up. And as I mentioned earlier, let me close this this front end. You can see it with the front end closed. Basically what we did to get these body lines is we modified the cowl up to the cowl vent, and then we added a piece to the cowl. And it actually kind of looks like it's supposed to be there. One of the next steps will be doors. We've got to finish up a few things on the doors and do the glass. I've got to build seat mounts, and again we'll have 2 seats in this. I've got 2 identical buckets, and of course we got to put the door bars in. So there's still a lot of work to be done inside, but at least the bulk of the cage is done, and I hope I never have to do another roll cage the rest of my life. This panel around the back glass, we've got to do an upholstered panel, because the back of your head will hit right at the edge of that window opening, which would be very painful. So we'll be making a padded panel of some sort to go around that. I don't think we're going to have room to do a round pad like you see on some of the the old school stuff, but we'll probably just end up incorporating a padded panel that fits around the window opening and probably covers up most of this white sheet metal. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. I won't win any awards for body work, but there is a lot of body work in this cab. Anytime you do a top chop, it definitely gets carried away. And I'm really enjoying the white paint because it's very forgiving. And I think it'll look good with some lettering and so forth on it. So there you have it. Update from Shaw's Garage, 41 gasser.